Hi everybody, welcome to GTCoding. In this tutorial series, we are creating this website using Next.JS. Now in this video, we will add the functionality of editing posts in this website. So here we can see we have these posts. Now when we click on this edit button, we should have these details displayed inside a form and we should be able to edit it and update our posts. So let's get started. Now before adding the edit functionality, let's fix a problem that we have over here. So right now it says that posted by and it doesn't display anything because we are not passing the author over here. So in the dashboard, if you go to our code here, if you go to the dashboard page, here we can see that for the author we are just setting an empty string. So let's go back to post component and here let's check whether we have the author. So here let's type author, and if the author is available, then we'll just display this code. So let's cut it and paste it over here and let's add it inside a fragment. And now if you go back here, we don't have the author displayed, but we need to display the date. So let's go ahead and change this to a question mark, and here let's type colon, and I'll just copy this React fragment from here and let's paste it down here. And when we have the author, we will display this code, and when you don't have the author, then I'll just type posted on, and here we will have the date. So now we can see it says posted on and we don't have the author displayed over here. But if you go to the home page, here we can see that posted by the author is displayed. So it is working all right. Let's go back to the dashboard, and now let's add the edit post functionality. So now if we click on this edit button, here we have already set a link. So it is set to edit post / the ID of the post, and we can see that for this one we have the ID which ends with F2D, and for the other post we have the ID which ends with 4E1. So the correct ID is being passed. So let's click on one of these edit post buttons, and now let's create this edit post page over here. So inside the app folder, let's create a new folder and it should be called edit post. So let's tap edit post, and in that we need to have this dynamic route for the ID. So let's create another folder and let's call it square brackets ID, and in that we need to create another file called page.tsx. And now if we just tap export default function edit post, and let's type return edit post, and now we can see it says edit post. Now for the actual edit post form, we'll create another component. So let's create a component over here and let's call it edit post form.tsx. And for now I'll just type export default function edit post form, and let's type return edit post form. And let's go back to the edit post page, and here let's import the component. So I'll just type edit post form, and let's import it from components edit post form. So now we can see it says edit post form. Right now we need to get the post using this ID, and we need to pass the data to this edit post form as a prop. So for that, let's create a function and let's call it get post, and we'll create an async function, and here we will get the ID and it'll be of type string, and for the return type it'll be of type promise tpost, and let's import it from app types or null. And here let's add a try catch block, and here let's type const res equals await fetch, and we need to fetch this URL right here, which is posts ID and route. So let's go to this URL. Here if you scroll up, here we can see that we have this get function, and here we need to pass the params, which is the ID, and we will get a response of the post with the ID. So let's go ahead and go back to the edit post page, and here let's type $curly braces. For the home page, let's type process.env.nextauth URL, and then let's type /API/posts/ and we need to pass the ID. So we are getting the ID over here in this function. So let's type $curly braces, and here let's type ID, and here we will add an option. Let's tap cache, and let's set it to no store, so that we always get the updated data. So the data is not going to be cached. Right now let's type if res.ok, and if the response is okay, then we'll just type const post equals await res.json, and let's return post. And here in the catch, let's type console.log error, and at the end let's return null. Right now the next thing we need to do is we need to get the ID from these params. So for that, here let's destructure params, and it will be of type params, which has this ID of string data type. And here let's go ahead and type const id equals params.id. So this will get the ID. I'll just go ahead and console.log it over here so that we make sure that the ID is being fetched. So let's go back to our page and let's reload this page, and let's go back to the terminal, and now we can see that the ID is being displayed over here. So we have the correct ID. But now let's go back, and the next thing we will do is, if the user is not logged in, we will just redirect to the sign in page. So we already have added that functionality to the dashboard. So let's go over here and let's copy the code. Here we have this if condition and also this const session. So let's copy this and let's paste it over here, and I'll just delete these 2 lines of code. Right now let's go ahead and import get server session, auth options, and redirect. And before that, let's go ahead and change this into an async function. Right now let's import get server session from next auth next, and then we need to import auth options from this route, and import redirect from next navigation. Right now let's scroll down, and now if the user is not logged in, they'll be redirected to the sign in page. But now let's call this function called get post. So here let's type const post equals await get post, and let's pass the ID over here. And here in the return, let's go ahead and check whether the post is available. So here let's create a React fragment, and I'll just add it inside the fragment. And here let's type if post, then let's cut this and let's paste it over here. And if the post is not available, then I'll just create a div and let's type invalid post. Right now the next thing we need to do is we need to pass this post as a prop to this edit post form component. So let's type post equals post. Right now let's go back to the edit post form component. Now this component is almost the same as the add post component. So let's go ahead and copy the code from that. So let's go to create post component, and let's copy all this code, and let's go to the edit post form component, and let's paste the code over here, and let's make the necessary changes. So here I'll just change the name to edit post form, and here we get the props. So I'll just destructure it. I'll just type post, and the type will be post of type tpost, and we'll just import it from app types. Right now if you go back to our website, here we can see that we have the form displayed. So let's go back, and the first thing we will do is we will populate these input fields with the value of the post. So let's go back to our code, and here we already have this use effect. So let's go below this code, and here let's create a function called init values, and here let's set the values of these states from the values that we get inside these props. So let's type set title, and here let's type post dot, and we have the title, and let's do the same for all the other states. So let's type set content post dot content, and set image URL post dot image URL or empty string, and set public ID post dot public ID or empty string, and let's type set selected category post dot cat name or empty string. And now let's call this function. So let's type init values. Right now here in the dependency array, let's add these values. So let's type post dot title post dot content post dot image URL post dot public ID and post dot cat name. Right now let's scroll down, and here for the input values we need to set it to the state. So for the title, we need to set it to this title state. So here let's go ahead and add a value attribute, and let's set it to title. And for the second one, let's change the value to content. And for the links, we already have this link added over here, and then we have the link input, and then lastly we have the categories. So here for the select tag, let's type value, and let's set it to selected category. And now let's go back to our website, and now we can see that our content of the post are populated over here in these input fields. We also have the selected category displayed over here. Right now, if you go back to the dashboard, and let's go ahead and open another post. So let's open this post right here. So we have this title of new title updated and the content of new content updated. We have this tag of technology. So let's click on edit. And here we can see that the correct values are displayed over here inside these input fields. Right now, let's go back to our code, and let's modify the code for the handle submit function. So we have this function called handle submit, which is called on the form submit. So let's scroll up, and here we have this handle submit function. So here also we will add this condition for checking if the title and content are available. And if it is not available, then we'll just set the error to title and content are required. And then let's go to the try catch block. And here we need to change the method to put because we are editing the post. So let's tap put. And here we need to pass the ID of the post. So if you go back to the edit route, so if you go to API, and if I go to posts ID and route.ts file, here we have this put function, and we need to have the params where we need to have the ID. So let's go back to edit post form component, and here let's pass the ID. So I just change this into backticks, and here let's tap $symbol curly braces, and we can get the ID from this post that we get as a prop. So let's tap post dot, and in that we have ID, and the headers and the body are the same. And here also, if the result is okay, we'll just redirect to the dashboard, or if we have any errors, we'll just console.log the error. And now I think this should work. So let's go back to our website. Let's go ahead and change this title to edited title, and let's change the content to edited content, and let's change the category to tips and tricks, and let's see whether this works. So let's click on this button. Now we need to change the text to edit post, but for now let's click on this button, and let's see whether we have any errors. And we can see that the post is not edited because we are not redirected to the dashboard page. So let's open the console, and here we have this error which says that we are not able to go to this API route. And if you take a look at the API route, it says that edit post API posts and the ID. Now this should not be the API route. It should be localhost 3001 /API/edit post. So something is wrong with our API route. So let's go back to our code, and here we need to change this to /API. Right now let's go back and let's test it out. So let's reload this page, and let's change this to edited title, and here let's type edited content, and let's change this to tips and tricks, and let's click on create post. And now we can see that we are redirected to the dashboard. And if we scroll down, here we can see that we have the edited title and edited content, and also the categories is set to tips and tricks. Right now let's also add a link. So we will add a link to this post. So let's click on edit. Let's go back, and I'll just change the text. So here, instead of create post, I'll just type update post. Right now here, let's go ahead and add a link. So I'll just type http google.com, and let's click on add, and let's click on update post. Right now let's scroll down, and here we can see that we have the link added. Now here for this post, let's remove these links. So let's click on edit. The links are not being displayed over here. So let's go back to our code, and here let's also set the link. So we have this links state. So let's type set links, and let's type post.links, and it can also be an empty array. So let's type or empty array, and here let's add it. So let's type post.links. And now let's go back. And now we can see that the links are being displayed over here. So let's delete one of these links and let's click on update post. And now we can see we just have one link. So let's delete this link as well. Let's click on update post. And now we can see we don't have any links for this first post. So the edit post method is working all right. Now the last thing we will do in this video is that we will display all the posts of specific category when we go to that page. So if you go to the original website and if I click on, for example, technology, we don't have any posts over here. So let's go back and let's go to web dev. And here we can see that all the posts of web dev are displayed over here. So now if you go over here and click on web dev in our current application, right now we don't have any page for these categories. So let's go back and let's create that page. So let's go to app and let's create a new folder called categories. And in that we need to create a new folder. And here we need to have a dynamic route for the cat name. So let's create a folder called square brackets cat name. Now in this we'll create a new file called page.tsx. Right now here let's type export default function category posts, and here we need to get the params where we are passing the category name. So here let's type params, and for the type we will type params, and in that we have cat name, which is a string. Right now let's go ahead and create a function to get all the posts with this category name. So we'll create a function called getPosts, and here we'll pass the category name. We get the category name from this params. So let's type const category equals params.catName, and let's pass the category over here. So let's type category, and now let's change this function into an async function. Right now let's create this function called getPosts. So let's type const getPosts equals, and let's create an async function, and here in the argument we get the cat name, and it'll be of type string, and for the return type let's type promise, and it'll be of type tPost, and let's import it from app types or null. Now this is going to be an array, so let's add square brackets over here, and let's create this arrow function. Now here let's add a try catch block, and here in the try let's type const res equals await fetch, and here let's type $ curly braces process.env.next.auth URL for the home page /API /, and we need to go to this route right here called API categories and this category name. So here we can see that we are getting all the posts with this category name. So let's go back to our page, and here let's type categories $$ curly braces cat name, and here also we will add this option to not store the cache. So let's type cache no store. Right now let's check whether the result is okay. So let's type res, we need to change this to res.ok, and if you go to that API route, so I'll just go to that API route. So let's go over here to API categories web dev, and here we can see first of all we get the category, and in that we have the posts array. So here let's type const categories equals await res.json, and in that we will have the posts. So let's type const posts equals categories dot posts, and let's return posts, and here in the cache let's type console.log error, and at the end I'll just return null. Right now let's scroll down, and here we will get all the posts. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to just display the posts. So for that we will use the post component that we have over here. So let's type return, and here let's create a React fragment, and let's add an h1, and here let's add a span. So here we can see if you go to a category, here we have this title. So let's type category, and for the span let's type class name, and let's set it to font normal, and after this let's add a space, and let's add the category over here. So let's type category, and let's go back to the home page, and let's open a category. So let's open web dev, and now we can see it says category web dev, but it is not displayed correctly over here. So for that we need to go ahead and add this inside a function called decode URI component, and now this should work. So now we can see that it is being displayed correctly. Right, now let's go back and let's display the posts. So for that, we can go over here to the home page and we can just copy this code right here. So let's copy this and let's paste it right here. Now here we need to import post. So let's type import post from components post, and now this should work. So let's go back to our website, and here we can see that our post is being displayed. I think we have some problems over here. This h1 is being continued down here. So here we can see that we have added all of this inside this h1. So let's cut this ending tag from here and let's paste it right here. And now we can see everything looks alright. So if you go to web dev, we have all the posts of web dev displayed over here. Now if you go to a category where we don't have any posts, so for example, if you go to, let's go to programming, and here we can see it says no posts to display. So everything is working alright. Alright, so that's basically it for this video. In the next video, we will set up Cloudinary and we will add the functionality to upload images to our posts. So if you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below, and if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.